大家好，我叫杜 Jenny. Hello everyone, my name is Jenny, and today I'm going to be talking about Xi'an. Xi'an used to be the capital of different dynasties, but some of the most important ones were the Western Zhou dynasty, the Western Han dynasty, the Sui dynasty, and the Tang dynasty. During all of those different dynasties, it was known by different names, but today it is known as Xi'an. It is located in Shaanxi province, spelled with two A's instead of one, to differentiate it from Shanxi province, that's first tone, Shan. So don't get them mixed up, this is in Shaanxi province, third tone. Xi'an was once located at the start of the Silk Road. So it would start here and then move west, like this, over the desert and to the west. So Xi'an has a lot of history involving with the Silk Road, and we're going to see that today. During the Tang Dynasty, that was the height of Silk Road trade. It was known as Chang'an at this time. So Xi'an's name was Chang'an. Chang'an. It was the largest, most cosmopolitan city in the mid-8th century. It had up to 1 million residents within the city walls, but if you expand to the surrounding region, there were about 2 million residents. And those residents were a mix of Chinese locals, immigrants, monks, missionaries, and merchants, all here because of the Silk Road trade. So within Chang'an, let's take a look. You can see some Buddhist buildings like the giant Wild Goose Pagoda, the small Wild Goose Pagoda, some different temples. You have some Taoist temples, a Zoroastrianism temple, and a Persian temple. Now, one thing that might catch your eye is this symbol right here, the swastika. Now, in the West, we only associate that with one thing, right? You may or may not know that it has a different origin. It actually originated as a Buddhist symbol that means good luck, all is well. And it retains that meaning in a lot of Buddhist contexts. So if you go to China, you go into a Buddhist temple, you might still see this symbol. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Today, Xi'an is a global cultural hub. It is one of China's top locations for Hanfu experiences. That's Chinese traditional clothing, like this. And of course, there's Hanfu for boys. These are just the example pictures that I got. And that's because Xi'an both produces and supplies Hanfu. So you make it there, and people can buy it in Xi'an. They host the annual Silk Road International Art Festival, and in 2026 they will be hosting the Silk Road Architecture and Decoration Expo and Conference. So you can tell they have a lot of pride in their history as one of these cities on the Silk Road. Now, if I went to Xi'an, there are a list of things that I would do, that I would want to eat, that I want to see, that I want to do, and I'm going to tell you some of them so you can steal my itinerary if you ever go to Xi'an. So number one, top of my list, this is 肉夹馍, known as the Shanxi style meat bun or the Chinese hamburger. I had this when I was in New York, but I still want to try the real thing where it originated, so that's why it's number one on my list. I would also want to try the biang biang mian, or biang biang noodles. These are famous because they're about as thick as a belt, a belt, and also because the character for biang is very difficult. There's a lot of strokes. This is the traditional version, this is a simplified version, so there's a little bit of a difference, but both are still hard to write. As for sights, I would absolutely have to see the terracotta warriors, Bing Ma Yong. These warriors, there are also terracotta horses with them. These were created for the first emperor of China during the Qin dynasty, the first united Chinese dynasty. And when he died, he had all of these buried with him in Xi'an. I would also like to visit the giant Wild Goose Pagoda. We saw that on the map earlier. Now, why would I see the giant one and not the small one? It's not just because this one's bigger and therefore better. It's because when the monk Xuanzang went to India to bring back the Sanskrit Buddhist texts, brought them back to China to translate them into Chinese, this is where he stored them. And it was that monk that inspired the the novel Journey to the West. It was his journey that inspired that journey to the West, to India. So this is a place of historical significance, even though it's not the original temple. It was kind of destroyed since the Tang Dynasty, so it's been rebuilt, but it's still important and I would like to see it. Of course, I can't just see things and eat things. I also want to do things and have some unique experiences that you could only find in Xi'an, and one of those would be the Datang, Ever Bright City. This is a Tang Dynasty style shopping area where you can dress in Hanfu, take pictures, admire the lights at night, and see different cultural performances and have interactive experience with the actors that they have here. So these are some women dressed in Tang Dynasty Hanfu. I would also like to see the Song of Everlasting Sorrow performance. This is a performance that's based on a Tang Dynasty poem. And this poem tells a tragic love story between the Xuanzong Emperor and his concubine. It's a very tragic love story, so I would like to see it in person. Finally, I would like to see the Muslim Quarter. And I would like to look around, experience Chinese nightlife and the night markets, maybe see the Grand Mosque of Xi'an, but especially because this is where I can find the Ruojiamo and the Biang Biang Mian that I mentioned earlier. So this is a place, at least for me, to go to get that. That is the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed learning about Xi'an. See you next time. 再见.